Okay, so continue on to page 410, California's Spanish culture. So that's the heading right there. Let's take a look at the questions. Guiding question: how did the culture of California develop? Analyzing key ideas and details. Analyzing central ideas. Why does the text mention the poor treatment of Native Americans at the hands of the rancheros? Number 2, describing. How does this text suggest that desire for national security was a motivation for Americans? Determining meanings. Look at the vocabulary. How is the word ranch related to the word rancho? How is the word ranchero related? Guiding question again: how did the culture of California develop? Before we read, let's check the checking for understanding questions. So these are some key ideas we want to make sure we know. Explain effects. What were the effects of missions constructed by the Spanish? Number 2, explaining issues. Why did Americans want to make California part of the United States? Alright, back to the reading. Spanish explorers and missionaries from Mexico settled California in the 1700s. Captain Gaspar de Portola and Father Junipero Serra began a chain of missions that eventually extended from San Diego to Sonoma. The missions aimed to convert Native Americans to Christianity and Spanish culture. Native Americans learned European ways of farming, weaving, and making other crafts. American mountain man Jedediah Smith described the missions as large farming and cattle ranching establishments. After Mexico won independence from Spain in 1821, California became a Mexican state. Mexicans bought mission lands and set up huge ranches, or ranchos. Native Americans worked the land in return for food and shelter. Rancheros, ranch owners, treated Native Americans very poorly. In the 1840s, more Americans reached California. John C. Fremont, an Army officer, wrote of the region's mild climate and vast natural resources. Americans began to talk about adding California to the Union. They argued that the nation would then be safely bordered by the Pacific Ocean, rather than by a foreign country. Shippers also hoped to build seaports on the Pacific coast for trade with East Asia. So again, in California, first we had Native Americans, and then Spain came over and they built the missions, which were then turned into ranchos when Mexico kicked Spain out. And so you have these large farms and large farming and cattle ranching establishments, as Jedediah Smith puts it. So there's a lot of great farmland there. It's great for cattle ranching. California still has a lot of farmland here, and we still have a lot of cattle ranches here in California as well. And John C. Fremont mentions the mild climate. We generally have very nice weather in California compared to other places. And natural resources, we have rivers, we have lakes, we have access to the ocean for fishing, trade. We have a lot of great resources in California. California has a lot of stuff to provide for the people living there. So it's understandable other people wanted to take over it. And again, the reasons they mentioned is that it's bordered by the Pacific Ocean, so it's a little bit easier to defend that way. Instead of having a border with another country, you just have a border with the ocean, and you can defend that with a navy. And again, also shipping with easier access to the ocean. You can ship things across the Pacific Ocean to Asia. So we'll continue. So this is just another incentive for the United States wanting to add California to the United States, and it's another factor into the Mexican-American War, which we'll talk about next.